what Lauri Markkanen has been doing lately in Eurobasket is on another level. Almost like he has turned into a completely different version of himself compared to what most fans are used to seeing in the NBA. The guy has been absolutely torching defenses night after night, putting up the kind of numbers that you just don't expect from someone who, not too long ago, was considered more of a nice complimentary piece rather than the main attraction. The wildest part is that when he finally had what people are calling a pedestrian game, he still finished with 26 points and 13 rebounds. For most players, that's the type of stat line that gets celebrated as a career night. For Lauri right now, it almost looks average, and that's what makes this run so impressive. He's been averaging north of 40 points per game if you include the exhibition matchups leading into the tournament, and in official games, he's dropped 40-plus multiple times already. He's turned himself into must-watch basketball, and no one can deny that he's been the headline of the entire competition. Watching him go to work, you can see the confidence pouring out of him. He's not hesitating. He's not second-guessing himself. He's attacking mismatches, hitting tough jumpers, knocking down threes with confidence, and crashing the boards like his life depends on it. There's a certain swagger about the way he's playing right now that makes you wonder if he's finally tapped into that star potential everyone thought he had back when he first came into the league. For years, coaches and analysts talked about his unique skill set, a 7-footer who could stretch the floor, handle the ball, and score at multiple levels. But there was always that lingering question. Could he ever put it all together consistently and really be the guy? Eurobasket is making that question feel a lot less hypothetical. He's looking like a true number one option, at least on this stage. And of course, performances like this always spark conversations about what comes next for him in the NBA. He plays for a Utah Jazz team that's caught between directions. They're not a clear contender, they're not exactly a bottom feeder, and they've got young talent that suggests they're more focused on building for the future than trying to win right now. That puts Markkanen in an awkward spot. He's 28 years old, which isn't ancient by any means, but when most of your roster is made up of guys in their early 20s, you start to look like the odd man out. Utah has shown before that they're willing to move pieces if the right deal comes along, and their front office has never been shy about hitting the reset button. So naturally, the trade rumors have been swirling, and Markkanen's explosive play overseas only adds fuel to that fire. The tricky part is his contract. Markkanen is just beginning a massive deal with numbers that climb into the mid-40s and even north of $50 million per season over the next few years. That's superstar money. That's the type of money you pay to your franchise cornerstone, your number one or number two option on a legitimate contender. And while Markkanen is playing like a monster in Eurobasket, the reality of the NBA is a little harsher. He's a great player, but he's not the kind of guy you hand the keys to and expect to lead you to a championship on his own. He's not Nikola Jokic. He's not Giannis Antetokounmpo. He's not Luka Doncic. He's a highly skilled forward who can stretch the floor, who can score efficiently, and who brings size and versatility. But when you attach a $50 million price tag to that, teams have to start asking some serious questions. Take the Lakers, for example. Fans constantly bring up the idea of Los Angeles swinging a deal to land Markkanen. On paper, it makes some sense. He's exactly the type of complimentary star who could thrive next to LeBron James and Anthony Davis. He doesn't need to dribble the air out of the ball to get his buckets. He can catch and shoot. He can cut. He can spot up. And he can give you 20-plus a night without demanding first-option touches. He's long. He's mobile. And in a system built around LeBron's playmaking, he would slot in beautifully. In fact, you could argue that his fit next to LeBron and AD is better than what you get from someone like Austin Reeves, even if the fan base is very high on Reeves right now. But the sticking point is the salary. It's one thing to pay Reeves $30 million or so a year and live with the ups and downs of a younger guard developing into a bigger role. It's a completely different thing to commit $50 million annually to a player like Markkanen, especially under the new collective bargaining agreement, where every dollar you spend over the cap comes with heavy penalties and serious roster-building limitations. Still, when you watch Markkanen torch defenses in Europe, it's hard not to daydream. He's 7 feet tall with a pure shooting stroke, and when he gets going, he looks unguardable. Defenders try to press up on him, and he puts the ball on the floor and gets to the rim. They sag off, and he bombs away from deep. He's always had the size advantage, But now he's playing with the confidence of a superstar, and that's what changes everything. There's a belief in his game right now that's contagious. His teammates feed off it, the crowd feeds off it, and you can see him carrying himself like he knows he's the best player on the floor. That's a dangerous mindset when you combine it with his actual skill set. But you also have to keep in mind that Eurobasket and the NBA are two very different animals. Defenses in the NBA are more sophisticated, the athletes are stronger and quicker, the scouting is deeper, and the grind of an 82-game season is something that wears on players in a way international tournaments never will. In Europe, you can go on a hot streak and dominate a handful of games. But in the NBA, consistency is what separates the stars from the role players. Markkanen has had strong seasons before, even made an all-star appearance. But he hasn't proven yet that he can sustain this Eurobasket level of dominance over an entire NBA season. That's where the skepticism comes in. If you're paying someone $50 million a year, you need him to be that guy not just in the summer, not just for a couple of weeks, but from October to April, and hopefully into May and June. The debate around his value isn't just about his scoring either. Defense is a big part of the equation. Markkanen has shown flashes on that end, but he's never been considered a stopper. He's not locking down wings. He's not protecting the rim at an elite level, and his defensive metrics fluctuate depending on the system and the team around him. When he was in Cleveland, surrounded by other strong defenders, his numbers looked solid. In Utah, where the team was more focused on player development and frankly on losing games to secure draft position, his defensive rating ballooned. Some of that is on him, some of it is on context. But if you're the team taking on his massive contract, you have to believe you can put him in the right environment to get the best out of him on both ends of the floor. And that brings us back to Utah. From their perspective, they're in no rush. They can hold on to him, showcase him, let him pile up stats, and wait for the perfect offer. Or, if they decide he doesn't fit their timeline, they can start quietly taking calls and see who's willing to bite. The Jazz aren't a franchise afraid of making bold moves. They've traded stars before, they've reset before, and they'll do it again if they think it positions them better for the future. The question is whether Markkanen's current run raises his value enough that some team out there gets desperate and overpays. Because that's what it would take, someone willing to swallow that massive contract and send back meaningful assets in return. Until then, the show goes on. Every time Lauri steps on the court for Finland in Eurobasket, he looks like a man on a mission. He's putting together highlight reels, he's putting pressure on defenders, and he's rewriting the way people think about him. If you'd only ever watched him in Chicago or during his early days in Cleveland, you might not even recognize this version of him. He's stronger, more confident, more aggressive, and more polished. The tools were always there, but now the mentality seems to have caught up. He looks like someone who believes he belongs among the elite, and that's a scary thought for whoever has to guard him. Now, when we shift the focus back to the NBA, that's where things get complicated with Lauri Markkanen. Because as incredible as his Eurobasket run has been, franchises do not evaluate players based solely on what they do in international play. They look at contracts, they look at durability, they look at how that player fits in an 82-game grind, and whether he can consistently provide value against the best defenses in the world. With Markkanen, you've got this fascinating case where the talent is undeniable. The production can be jaw-dropping, but the numbers on the paycheck raise questions that even the most optimistic fan can't ignore. When you're talking about a deal that climbs past $46 million this year, hovers around $50 in the next 2 seasons, and then peaks at nearly $54 million in the final year, you're talking about the kind of salary that can shape your entire roster. That's the kind of money that dictates every move you make as a front office. And this is exactly why teams like the Lakers keep popping up in the rumor mill. Fans look at the roster, they see that LeBron James is in the twilight of his career, they see Anthony Davis still capable of being dominant when healthy, and they think adding Markkanen as that third star could push them over the top. On the floor, it makes sense. He spaces the court, he doesn't need the ball in his hands all the time, and he can quietly put up 20 points while everyone else is focused on LeBron and AD. Imagine defenses collapsing on LeBron's drives or AD's post-ups and having a 7-footer spotting up on the wing ready to drill threes. It's the kind of fit that looks perfect in a vacuum. But the reality is trades are not made in a vacuum. They are made with contracts, with salary matching requirements, with depth concerns, and with an eye on the future. For the Lakers to even get in the ballpark of matching Markkanen's salary, you're talking about sending out multiple rotation players. Austin Reeves would almost certainly have to be in the deal because he's one of the few Lakers with both value and a sizable enough contract to make the math work. Rui Hachimura's salary would probably be included as well. Then you'd need another piece or two, maybe someone like Gabe Vincent, maybe a younger prospect just to make the numbers line up. Before you know it, you're talking about a package of 3 or 4 players for just one guy. That kind of consolidation move can leave holes in your roster, especially when you don't have the draft capital to backfill with cheap young talent. And that's the other factor, draft picks. Utah is not going to hand over Markkanen for scraps. Even with his giant contract, they're going to want assets back. They'll want players they can build with, or they'll want picks they can use in future trades. The Lakers' draft situation is already complicated. They've given up several picks in past deals, and they can't just toss away first-rounders at every opportunity. If Utah demands a pick or 2 on top of the players, it starts to feel like too heavy a price for someone who, again, is a great player but not quite on that superstar tier. From Los Angeles' perspective, you'd essentially be bailing Utah out of a financial commitment that could weigh them down for years while giving up your own flexibility in the process. That's a tough sell, no matter how well Markkanen fits next to LeBron. But let's take a step back and think about Markkanen himself as a player. When you watch him in the NBA, you see a guy who has steadily improved his scoring arsenal. He's always been able to shoot. That's never been in question. But in recent years, he's become more assertive attacking closeouts, more willing to put the ball on the floor, and more consistent in finishing around the rim. He can punish smaller defenders in the post, he can pick and pop, and he can run the floor in transition. He's not just a stationary shooter anymore. The version of Markkanen we've seen in Utah, when fully healthy and engaged, is much closer to a complete offensive weapon than the player he was in Chicago or during his short stint in Cleveland. The concern, though, is consistency and health. Last season, he appeared in only 47 games. That wasn't all due to injuries because Utah was clearly leaning into a tanking strategy and sitting players intentionally, but it still means we didn't get to see him in a full grind of a season. Even going back further, he's never played more than 68 games in a year. If you're paying someone $50 million annually, you need them to be available. You can't have your supposed third star sitting for a quarter of the season, whether it's by choice or necessity. Availability matters just as much as talent when you're committing that kind of money. This is why his Eurobasket explosion is both exciting and misleading. It shows what he's capable of when he's the focal point, when he's given the freedom to do whatever he wants on the court. But it doesn't necessarily translate one-to-one with the NBA, where the competition is deeper, the scouting is sharper, and the season is a marathon instead of sprint. He's proving he can dominate in the right environment, but the NBA requires proving you can do it every night against the best. Until he shows that, teams will hesitate to treat him like a true superstar, no matter how many points he piles up overseas. Before we continue, we ask that you leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any exclusive Lakers updates. Moving on, the sports world is buzzing with excitement as Kevin Durant, one of the most prolific scorers in NBA history, reportedly closes a deal with the Los Angeles Lakers. According to multiple sources close to the situation, the superstar forward is set to join the storied franchise, a move that could redefine the balance of power in the league. Rumors suggest that the announcement came amid a flurry of negotiations that had kept fans and insiders on edge for weeks, with speculation reaching fever pitch over whether Durant would choose a West Coast team or continue with an Eastern Conference contender. The Lakers, long chasing a championship window that seems ever fleeting, are believed to have orchestrated an aggressive approach, including a combination of trade assets and potential free agent maneuvers, to lure the 10-time All-Star to Los Angeles. Social media has exploded with reactions, ranging from disbelief to elation, with supporters already speculating about how Durant's arrival will affect the dynamics of the roster. Industry insiders hint that the signing could trigger a domino effect across the league, prompting other teams to recalibrate strategies and potentially spark a wave of further high-profile transactions. Analysts are already debating whether this addition signals a short-term push for a championship or a longer-term reshaping of the Lakers' identity. While no official statement has been made, the rumor mill continues to churn with wild conjectures and possible scenarios. Celebrations reportedly erupted in Los Angeles as news of Durant's arrival spread, with fans reportedly gathering near the Staples Center in anticipation of what could be an official unveiling. Eyewitness accounts describe an atmosphere reminiscent of past monumental moments in the franchise's history, with chants, banners, and an air of collective euphoria dominating the scene. Behind the scenes, sources suggest that Durant's camp coordinated a series of events designed to maximize fan engagement and media coverage, signaling that the Lakers are prepared to leverage his star power both on and off the court. The timing of the move appears strategic, coinciding with a pivotal phase of the NBA offseason, and insiders speculate that the organization hopes this will not only boost ticket sales, but also attract additional marquee players to Los Angeles. Coaches and current Lakers players are reportedly enthusiastic about the development, with some teammates reportedly reaching out to Durant personally to express excitement and discuss potential on-court synergies. Analysts are dissecting the implications for team chemistry, highlighting Durant's proven ability to adapt to new systems while maintaining elite performance. Speculation continues about how the Lakers will adjust rotations, manage salary cap considerations, and integrate Durant's offensive versatility into their existing framework. Fans and pundits alike are already projecting scenarios where Durant's arrival could lead to deep playoff runs, marking a new era in Los Angeles basketball. Amidst all this, the energy surrounding the team seems electric, with anticipation bordering on frenzy. Rumors swirling within league circles suggest that Durant's decision to join the Lakers was influenced by multiple factors, including lifestyle considerations, championship aspirations, and the potential to play alongside a roster that blends established stars with promising young talent. Speculation indicates that discussions included intricate details about leadership roles, offensive schemes tailored to Durant's scoring efficiency, and even personal considerations such as training facilities and community impact. Sources close to the negotiation process hint at a complex dialogue between Durant, his advisors, and the Lakers' front office, emphasizing mutual interest in creating a partnership that extends beyond mere statistics and into legacy building. Some insiders suggest that Durant's previous experiences with playoff pressure and high-stakes competition made Los Angeles an appealing destination, offering both the glamour of Hollywood and the credibility of a franchise steeped in championship tradition. Analysts debate how this move will influence the broader competitive landscape, especially in the Western Conference, where teams are already bracing for heightened contention. The possibility of Durant pairing with other key Lakers figures has generated intense speculation about potential offensive and defensive alignments, with some predicting an immediate boost in scoring output and strategic versatility. Sports media outlets continue to fuel the buzz with hypothetical lineups, advanced metrics analyses, and fan reactions, creating an environment where the rumor itself becomes a central spectacle. Observers note that the intrigue surrounding Durant's potential impact extends to sponsorship opportunities, merchandise sales, and broader cultural influence, reinforcing the idea that this signing could reverberate far beyond the hardwood. With each passing day, the chatter grows louder, solidifying Durant's reported move as one of the most electrifying off-season narratives in recent memory. Industry whispers suggest that the Lakers management may have employed a multifaceted approach to secure Durant, balancing financial incentives with strategic positioning in the free agent market. Reports indicate that the organization explored a range of options, including trades, contract restructuring, and potential endorsements, all designed to make the prospect of joining Los Angeles as enticing as possible. Speculation persists regarding the exact nature of the deal, with some insiders claiming that the terms reflect not only a lucrative salary, but also unique clauses related to performance bonuses, media appearances, and influence over roster decisions. The reported negotiations appear to have been intense and highly confidential, with multiple parties working behind the scenes to ensure alignment between Durant's personal goals and the Lakers' championship ambitions. Analysts suggest that if the deal materializes as rumored, it could set a precedent for how elite players navigate free agency, leveraging their status to shape organizational direction and team identity. Fans, meanwhile, continue to share animated discussions across social platforms, dissecting possible rotations, statistical projections, and the implications for rival teams. The narrative of Durant joining the Lakers has inspired a flurry of speculative articles, podcasts, and live commentary, each offering unique interpretations of what this could mean for the immediate future of the NBA. From a cultural standpoint, the addition of Durant may also influence Los Angeles' broader sporting landscape, potentially affecting attendance, sponsorship revenue, and media coverage. Sports historians note that few acquisitions have carried such a high combination of talent, marketability, and suspense, making the rumor of Durant's signing a focal point of off-season analysis. As chatter persists, the anticipation continues to build, underscoring the magnetic allure of both the player and the franchise he is reportedly joining. Stay informed exclusively about Los Angeles Lakers news. Subscribe to our channel and hit the like button to keep receiving daily updates. Also, share your opinion on the news in the comments, as your contribution is crucial for the Lakers. Stay tuned for the next video.